Hello, everyone. My name is Gunnar Emery. Welcome to the Solution to Everything podcast with yours truly. This is going to be episode 1, and I'm just going to introduce you to some of the theories and that have inspired me to create the solution to everything. So let's go ahead and dive in and get right into it. I'm just going to say it's going to be about 10 to 15 minutes here, so it's a quick listen. But it's a very, very potent, very, very powerful. In fact, in my reality, it is the most powerful. That's why I called it the solution to everything. All right, so let's start. Oh, yes, let's invite spirit in, invite our angels, our guides, the ascended masters. Let's get quiet just for a moment here and set the intention that this podcast be centered and grounded around love and service to humanity, that all those who wish to willingly listen gain as much benefit as they possibly can towards their ascension, towards their salvation, towards their freedom. Amen. All right, so let's start with the groundwork for this podcast. Solution to everything sounds a bit, let's say, egotistical, as if there could be a solution to everything. But I think I can argue with that. Let's start with energy. And we're going to be breaking through some worldviews here. So if you're really holding on to something right now, just go ahead and prepare yourself, because what I'm about to tell you is going to be pretty groundbreaking. And really, it's like trying on a piece of clothing. So if you like what I say, you can go ahead and take that piece of clothing away, and you can wear it whenever you want. If you don't like what I say, you can take it right off. This is really about you. It's really about choosing your choice to choose love and to choose to ascend and choose freedom. So everything is energy. Everything holds vibration and frequency and amplitude. And even in the inanimate objects, let's say tables, to the live and living things like trees, like you can see in the back to myself, everything holds a certain energetic frequency. Now, what is energy? What is energy? Okay, so let's zoom into our microscopic world, our atomic world, and we'll go to atoms. And what we see here is our nucleus, and where we hold our protons and our neutrons. Now, oscillating around the nucleus, around the central portion, is the electrons. And they're spinning, they're oscillating at a certain rate, and that creates a vibrational field. So if you can imagine something that's made of atoms, that object in its entirety is spinning and oscillating at a certain rate, okay, which gives it a high density or a low density, okay? So a low density figure would be something like this table that the computer is on. This is vibrating. These electrons are vibrating at a very, very low frequency. Now, whereas something like my body, or like the trees, or even, let's say, oxygen molecules, they're vibrating at a bit of a higher rate, okay? So this can get extremely complicated, and I would be lying to you if I fully understood the process, but let's just nail this down. It's very simple in its upbringing and its first understanding. Everything is energy. Everything has an energetic component to it. Everything is made of those atoms, okay? And that's oscillating around to create a vibrational field, and that vibrational field can be of lower density or of higher density, okay? So let's move on from there. Let's go into the double slit experiment now and explain to you quantum physics in a very, very brief and summarized way and view. So This double slit experiment, I believe, was performed, I'm probably going to be botching the year. It was performed at least 100 years ago. So at least 100 years ago and beyond that. What happened was these scientists, they wanted to understand how light and photons and particles, how they interact with their environment. So they set up this board, and in the middle of the board was one slit, okay? So they theorized that when they shot light through this board, that, well, lo and behold, on the other side, there would be one slit of light on the back, okay? Now, what happened was they found that to be true. Wow, pretty crazy, right? So what they did was they put two slits with the expectation and the hypothesis that they would receive the same exact results. Okay, they expected that they would see two beams behind the slit, behind the cardboard, that would demonstrate to them that, yes, light has particles and it behaves exactly like it's supposed to. All right, this is where our reality might be crumbled a little bit. What actually happened was when they shone that light through the double slit, aka the double slit experiment, it refracted the light behind it. What does that mean? It's taken me a long time to fully understand it, and again, I'm not totally sure I fully understand it yet. However, I feel like I can explain it to you in a way that that makes sense enough for us to use it in a practical way. So what that means is the particles in the light didn't actually perform how they were supposed to. They performed as though they were a waveform, as though they were not physical in their material. They performed as though they were a liquid substance, and they bounced off each other and created the refracted light behind them. What does that mean? That's a giant realization that light, let's just say light for now, behaves as a particle, physical object, and as a wave. Okay, so that was big enough in itself. Now let's really go down the rabbit hole, as in the Alice in Wonderland rabbit hole. Let's keep going here. So what happened was they filmed this. The scientists, they filmed this, and they were awestruck and blown away. And so what they really did was they put a camera to observe these particles now, because they wanted to see how the heck is this happening? How is it becoming a wave? How is it transforming into this waveform pattern? This is unbelievable. And what they found was when they filmed it, the particles became solid again. So what they concluded was that the observer affected the outcome of the experiment. Let me say that again. The observer, us, our minds, our belief system, affected the outcome of the experiment and changed the waveform pattern of the light into a part and back into the physical particle that they expected. And then when they didn't, it transferred back into a waveform. Pretty remarkable stuff. So these are two great beginning places to start here with our journey and our explanation of the reality, and really kind of peeling away the layers of what we really believe to be true. And I really believe that this is quintessential, and maybe you've heard that so many times that you're so sick of it, but I truly believe this is quintessential to our understanding, to how we can really help ourselves, how we can really save humanity. And I don't want to say save humanity, because I think that we're smart enough to get beyond this. So I don't think we've gotten to that level. I think we can really help humanity rise to what I believe its true potential is. Okay, so let's just recap really quick. We have lesson number 1, which is everything is energy. At the atomic level, we have our protons and our neutrons, and oscillating around that are our electrons. Our electrons oscillate at a certain speed, and that certain speed gives rise to its vibrational level. its vibrational level. And that frequency, when we expand all of the molecules into its macromolecular structure, i.e. a body or a table or the tree behind me, that gives rise to its form and its shape and how it interacts with the reality. Okay, so everything is energy. Number two is we dove into the double slit experiment, which suggested, and actually now is proven in scientific research, that light, which is what we're all made of, light, acts as a particle, a physical particle, and as a waveform pattern. And when the light is observed by a researcher or just a regular human being, that light shifts its patterning and contours to the observer's beliefs and to its thoughts. So that's pretty big. Why is that pretty big? It's because all the research that we've been doing and all the science that we've been doing in our reality that we think we're doing is really dependent upon the researcher and upon the scientist's beliefs. So if any one Joe Schmo went out there and did some of the same experiments that they did, you would probably get different results. I'm not saying it would be significantly different. It might be, and what I'm suggesting is it probably will be, which will blow our entire scientific research community out of the water. And I'm not saying that it's been bad or negative. I'm just saying we're ready to expand, you guys. We're ready to go. We're ready to become who we really are, and this is the beginning step. Okay, so the double slit experiment demonstrated the power that we have as the observer, that we actually affect the reality in itself. Okay, all right, so let's close it down. That was the Solution to Everything, episode number 1. Thank you all for listening.